pull it up. That's what I want to talk about.
All right, well, there we go. Then we're going to talk about a little GP's comments, man. Shout out to the homie. All right. Because he was speaking to the media. Okay. But ultimately, just talking about, his new quarterback situation and what he thinks he's going to be capable of and why he feels like he's going to be capable of doing it. So, in terms of, what he was basically saying is he thinks he can thrive more because of the Russell Wilson and Justin Fields additions. And some of the quotes that he specifically talked about, he was talking to Jason Mackey with the Pittsburgh Post-Gazette. Shout out to Jason. He's basically said that I can only go off of how the quarterback plays. I can thrive more. The yardage showed that. I should have made the Pro Bowl. And you obviously had talked about that as well. But then, man, did I miss the joint? But I'll basically summarize it, man. Essentially what he was alluding to was, though, he's talking about with the new additions, man, and ultimately how he feels like this is going to open up more opportunities for him to be a better player, for him to have more production. And honestly, I don't think that's something that's too far-fetched, man. I do think it's something that just knowing he's open to either one of those guys, but just the thought process of the fact that he thinks that he's capable of giving us more, specifically now that those dudes are here. Like I said, for me, man, I think that's a positivity right there, and I like that.
Yeah, I hope that's the case. I'd like to think so. You just had this
That's what I'm saying, man.
big quarterback room turnover.
Mm-hmm.
You hope it's for the better.
No.
And yeah, it doesn't seem like Pickens has lived up fully to what he's capable of over these first 2 years in the league. But he's also been, really damn good still.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's going into year 3, so I feel like he should only be getting better. And the quarterback play better be better than what it was last year. So you add those two together.
It has to be.
Yeah, I don't see why Pickens won't take another step and elevate. And we talked yesterday how it seems like he's locked in. He's got his head on straight. And
The leadership stuff.
Yeah, he knows what he needs to do.
Now, if you had to pick, though, right? Because you've obviously seen some of the Justin Fields style. You've obviously seen some of Russ's style as well. Which one do you like? Which one would you like more with GP?
For Pickens?
Mm-hmm.
That's a good question, actually. That's a real good question.
Because they both have a little bit different
I'd
style.
lean Russ. Because we got to see Russ with a number 1 receiver out in Seattle and have that connection, have that dynamic. I'm talking about DK Metcalf.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas with Fields, I don't think he really had that in his time in Chicago. Where it was just like that quarterback, wide receiver, 1 connection.
He said their best one they had was Mooney the one time.
Yeah. I mean, I guess last year DJ Moore didn't he have like 1,000 yards?
Yeah.
But you also had that Badgett play for, 5-6 games of the season, and Fields wasn't out there the whole time. So, I don't think there's ever been a point in Fields' career where it's like you got a receiver that you could associate with Fields.
Yeah.
Whereas with Russ, for a 3-year stretch, Russ and DK, like that was a little dynamic duo that we talked about. So that's why I would lean Russ, because he's been there, done that, and had a serious connection with a franchise receiver. And there were times where, defense, you can't really do anything.
Yeah.
And it's just going to happen.
Yeah. I'm so back and forth on it, bro. Like, I feel like with Russ, all that you just said, I love. But then I just think of, I'm like, yo, is that just going to still keep him more of the down the grass vertical, which is still dope. But I think of, like, the Fields element of him extending plays, along with the ability to actually pull this thing down and how he can take off. And I think of more so how teams try to defend Lamar at times. Because of the legs, it almost handcuffs you at times with certain coverages. With Russ, that was it early on, but now he doesn't utilize the legs to that extent. Like, he still knows how to weaponize it, but it's not as scary as when you watch Justin Fields, who we said just set the record, right? In terms of rushing yards for a quarterback. So when I think of that part, I'm like, what potentially gets my man the better matchups? And that's the one where I'm just like, I like Justin Fields. I lean a little bit more him. I just don't know if play in and play out, it's worth that, though. And I think that's the whole dynamic of, can he develop? Can he raise his floor?
Yeah, can Fields get him the ball?
Because the other element, I'm like, man, when you got a dude that can run around, it puts that coverage in a lot more bind, right? They got to cover a lot longer. Now they got to decide, do I come about this, drop the coverage for this dude? And he still is capable of flicking the wrist and launching this thing. So that's why I'm back and forth with it. But I feel like Russ is like the safer pick. And I think that's kind of why we're even anticipating where it's like, all right, Russ first, then the Fields convo. But I'm like, I think Pickens and Fields could really be spicy just because of how dynamic Fields can be.
Yeah, I feel like that's just all dependent on Fields improving as a passer. Because, like you said, with the legs, could it provide better matchups for GP? It should be able to provide better matchups for everyone on the offense.
Yeah, it should. Just
like a GP exclusive type of thing. Mm-hmm. Yeah, the thing with Fields is just, can you become a better overall quarterback and a better overall passer? Then you could be really dangerous. And with Russ, he's already done it. He's already a Hall of Famer. We're talking about him having a shitty year last year. He still had 26 passing touchdowns and 3 rushing touchdowns, so 29 total touchdowns in 15 games. He didn't even play.
Yeah, still was what 3,000.
The last 2 games
was 3.
Yeah, 3,000 something. And then the other thing I like for Russ
3,000
and GP,
even,
probably over Fields, is Russ being really efficient in the red zone too.
Ooh, okay.
And that's something I don't think we've fully untapped with GP just yet either.
Yeah,
and being a red zone threat, because we know you throw it up to GP, he could virtually catch anything.
Should be,
as long as he's got his details right.
Which we also saw at
which I think should be a problem this year.
I think we're past that. I hope we're past that
this year, hopefully.
I forgot all about that one. The chill toe tap.
Yeah, I could see Russ and Pickens having a really good connection. Fields, I could see him having a good connection. Is scary I don't think it necessarily has to be with Pickens. I could see Fields being just a flat outright good quarterback. But again, that's more on him just being better. Overall.
That's my thing. I'm like, Fields.
Whereas Russ, I think, already got it.
Yeah.
So I would lean Russ for Pickens, being better for Pickens.
Yeah.
That'd be my projection, at least.
All right. We're going to find out, though. And that's the beauty of it. But it literally just had me thinking of it when I'm just listening to Fields talk. I'm like, okay, they both nice. They both bring certain things to the table. And even though Russ is way more effective or way more efficient in the red zone, part of me still is like, Justin Fields, if I'm a defender, I'm like, that's a little bit more scary to me in the red zone.
Well, that goes back to what we were talking about yesterday with TG.
Mm-hmm.
I could see the Steelers doing some type of scheme or some type of formation for Fields.
Because you can even look at his Chicago tape last year. I'm
never going to be a fan of it.
But you look at the Chicago tape last year, and he has walk-ins off of zone read in the red zone, off of play action, off of naked boot, just because of the athleticism and how you have to play and account for his legs, man. And in that red zone, man, when you add him as a runner, now defensively, that kills a lot of what you try to, bank on having the numbers for. Because now you actually got to account for this dude. We don't have that free defender anymore. So, yeah. But salute it, though, man. Salute him.